no. Hello, hello. Come on into the ditch. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Nobody telling me yet. Hey, hey, Betsy can see me. So is there a bit of a lag? Wait till I see. Eileen, Kay, can you ladies see me? Yes and yes. Hi to Betsy in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, we were just reading that comment before we went live, Betsy, and we're wondering, do the locals say Tucson or Tucson? I think it's probably Tucson. But you know, when Jojo left his home, it sounds like Tucson, Arizona. Bought some Californian grass. I went to blank. Could you still hear me when that was on there? Oh my god. Please bear with me while I get used to this new infrastructure. I've got two screens going on, folks, and I've never been more confused in my life, okay? I've got above the camera here, if you see me looking up, there's a gigantic, massive TV screen on the wall that kind of gives me a real-time look at what's actually happening. Then the camera is here at eye level with me, and then I've got a laptop down here as well, and that's where the comments are. Okay, usually like two screens tops, and that's me. I'm out. I've got sort of three running here now at the minute, and Dave's trying his best to be quiet over there and just let me get on with it. But he's here for technical backup, so don't worry. It's probably going to go wrong, but Dave will fix it. Also, my camera battery, I need to let you know, is going to die at some point. Don't worry about it. A, we've got a backup for the couple of minutes it'll take Dave to change the battery. And B, we have ordered the plug-in option thing where you just plug your camera into the wall and then you don't have to worry about the battery running out. So I have ordered one of those. It's in the post. It's on the way. So wherever I do end up streaming from, at least that problem's going to be ruled out, hopefully. Kay is here with her adult beverage at 2 in the afternoon. We'll say nothing about that, Kay. It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. Even the Lord said it was a day of rest, you know. And sometimes it's hard to rest without some assistance. I'd probably have something to calm my nerves a little bit here, but all I've got's a cup of tea because I'm being very good, okay? I am coming to you this evening from an enterprise centre. Okay, and if you're not from Ireland, you don't know what that is. It's like a local community centre that's sort of based around enterprise, and you can rent spaces to work, and it's got great internet. It's unfortunately also given me this eerie green glow around me because there's a green screen behind me. And I spent a couple of hours last night creating this weird picture behind me. If I lean this way, can you see it? It's a bit terrible. Is it this way? It's this way. Like Dave's just here trying to direct me. I can't tell left from right. I'm flipped. So like God's blessed the folks who's letting me in here to run amok by myself on a Sunday night, which is essentially what's happening. But if it wasn't for them, I would have been stuck for internet a couple of times now. This is the place where I do my classes for the Irish Pagan School, or if I have to do like a pre-recorded interview for documentaries and that kind of thing, I do it here. But there's quite a lot of cons to, pros and cons to operating here. So we'll talk about those in a bit, but I'm still saying hello here. Wait till I see now. Getting distracted wouldn't be me. And Area Glorious again, hello. How are you? pretty sure I remembered how to pronounce that correctly. And you made it home just in time. Good, good, good. We made it on the air just in time. We were still tricking with lights and things, trying to fix the green glow. Nearly right up until it was go time. And hello, Mary C. And hello, the Corner House Project. How are you? I remember you from last week as well. Mary Lamphere, hello, welcome. Farron Gully, is that Farron Gully? That's a nice pun there. God, I had great memories of Farron Gully as a child, but I don't know, looking back now, I feel slightly traumatized by it. It's probably one of the things that inspired me to be the kind of person who's likely to chain themselves to a bulldozer and that kind of thing, you know. Love a bit of ructions, anti-establishmentarian ructions. So there's a little lag. Thanks for letting me know, Betsy. I hope it's not too bad, and let me know if it's buffering at all like it was last week. That was a total disaster. But look, we had to try it. You know, we did improve our internet at the house quite considerably from we actually moved in over a year ago. We didn't know if it was going to be fast enough for YouTube. Some evenings it's great, some evenings it's not. So we really just had to give it a go and find out. And we discovered that no, in fact, it cannot be relied upon to provide enough speed to stream on YouTube. So again, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Hello to Patchy Princess, to Wayne World, to Bridie Wright, to Dan Fine, Dan Define, Dan Define. Southern Gal, oh, I've lost myself now, and Sheila in Illinois. Great to see lots of people in from the States and from Canada. I kind of thought with doing the later slot in the evening time, well, it's late here in Ireland, it's obviously now it's after 8 o'clock in the evening, so I kind of thought at least, you know, for the people on the American continent, that it'd be a nice time of day to just tune in and have a chat and have a bit of a crack. Hello to Sassy Girl, Ben Tolley again, hello. Take two will be perfect. Good evening from lovely Leitrim. Are you in Leitrim too, Ben? Did you tell me that last week and I forgot because I was so mortified at how terribly wrong it was all going, whilst trying to look like I wasn't mortified at the same time. It's like, be cool, Tara, be cool. Just keep the broomstick in the air, you'll be fine. Hello to Steve Roberts, and to Pigpen. Area Glorious also has some adult beverage, or will have in a bit. Yeah, empty the shopping bags first. It's very important. You don't want to do it the other way around, because then you'll be going looking for the dinner ingredients and you won't know where you put them. And to who else have we got now? Hello to Moonchild again. Hello. Moonchild, you really did try and stick with me last week as well. There's a few in here now, the die-hard fans. God bless yous. And Old Man Ferdiad, good evening to you too. And Nicole, the Cottage Witch. Hello from Alberta, Canada. I'm glad I'm trying it again too. It's kind of one of those things, like I am very, very afraid of technology, and unfortunately being on YouTube requires a shocking amount of it. But, you know, I also just love having the crack with people. I love getting to know people, and I enjoy just two-way conversation. So it was definitely going to happen at some point. And do you know what? Even though this isn't the ideal setup for many reasons, it's not going to put me off. Live streaming is definitely a direction I want to head in. It's just a matter of how we achieve it and how soon. Hello to the Country Pumpkin. Great name. And hello to Lynn Smith. Glad you're enjoying it. I just popped up in your YouTube this week. That's great. How do you make your berry tonic? Ho ho. Well, I included the recipe for that in my class. Which one is it? My Herb Magic at Samhain class with the Irish Pagan school. Because I kind of thought, you know, it was really only people who were going to be able to forage the same ingredients that we have here in Ireland for it. So the rose hips and the elderberries and all the nice things that goes into it. But you basically, it's just a matter of reducing them down with sugar and water. I absolutely couldn't even tell you the recipe off the top of my head now if I wanted to. I have it written down and I keep it safe. But there's lots of tasty things go into it. I put a couple of herbs and that into it as well, kind of depending on what I have. And I make different versions of it depending on what my garden is like at that time. I've moved house a lot over the years, in case you haven't seen any of my videos where I've discussed that. So I've had access to a lot of different species, and it's nearly different every time I make it. And Take My Strong Hand wants to know on Will Gaelga Agat. Neil, I'm going to go ahead and say Neil because my Irish unfortunately isn't good enough to hold conversation. I do okay at kind of understanding written Irish. I suppose that's the hangover of the East Coast Irish primary and secondary school education, and the way the Changa's taught, it's kind of stiff. I didn't find it enjoyable, and I picked up French like 5 times as fast as I learned Irish, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. I'd much rather be able to speak more than Cúpla Focal now, to be honest with you. And I think it's so much harder to get into it as an adult too, isn't it? Like I've bought books, I've even sat down and tried it once or twice, but I feel like it's really a conversational language, and you really just need to be around people who's speaking it. That's not to put anybody off who wants to learn Irish. There's people out there from countries all over the world having much more success learning it than I am, putting us all to shame. And Andy Moore says, me gaff is looking good. Isn't it just? I definitely didn't spend 2 hours on Photoshop last night making a fictional gaff for myself, I swear. Oh yeah, Ben and Kay were just totally keeping the crack going whilst I dropped in and out last week, which was great to see. Yeah, okay, and I know I said I was gonna, if you did see that much in last week's live chat or attempt at a live chat, I did say that I was going to hang on to all of the questions. Ben's letting me know that rural Leitrim is getting the fibre broadband to all houses in the next 18 months, but Dave will probably know that already. Yeah, we're kind of counting it down, and I'm thinking to myself, like, 18 months seems like a long time away, and I sort of feel like I'm ready to start live streaming now, but it depends on how interested people are in me doing that. I want to just let you know that basically what I was saying, I've lost the questions. The questions came after the first half an hour in last week's video, and the internet was so slow and the quality of the video as it was trying to stream live was so bad that YouTube essentially gave up after 28 minutes and just discarded the rest of the video. I continued to talk up to the 1 hour and 48 minute mark alone, and only found out then the camera had long since died. You folks had probably all since got cut off, even the diehards who tried their best to stick it out with me. When I say it was an unmitigated disaster, that's not an overstatement. So I lost all the questions basically that were put into the live chat after the 28 minute mark. So if there are any questions you want answered like that about anything I've covered in the videos, or just anything you're curious about, like within reason, we're still just getting to know each other. Who said somebody asked me a question. Eileen, do the little white berries grow anywhere or just in Ireland? That's a good question, Eileen. I think it's the snowberries that I covered in one of my autumn foraging videos last year that you're referring to there. Also referred to as pheasant berry because the pheasants love eating them, and pheasants themselves are a Norman introduction to Ireland. They were brought here by the Normans. And I sometimes wonder, did they bring the snowberry too, or was it just a happy coincidence that we had it here and the pheasants happened to like it? So that's about as much as I know about the snowberries, Eileen. I can't even rightly remember if they're native now off the top of my head. But there is a chance that they were just kind of brought here by the Normans to keep the pheasants happy till they were ready to eat them. I'm on Moonchild's big screen at the partner's behest. South Donegal already has the fibre broadband. Kinda jealous. Yeah, Andy, I am trying my best to acknowledge you all because it really means a lot to me, you know, considering the mess that was not just last week, okay? But let's face it, there have been hairy moments here in the ditch. There have been ups and downs, and there's, you know, a few people in this chat now who've been there through most of them. So I feel like any chance I can get to, you know, show you that I really, really, really appreciate the support. I mean, and it makes all the difference in the world. Gives us the confidence to it gave us the confidence to buy a house, and we sort of went, yeah, okay, there is a way to create income and some kind of creative career for ourselves by using this newfangled thing called YouTube. So it really does make all the difference in the world. Every time you tune in, every time you hit the like button, every time you hit comment, just fabulous. Wait till I see now. I've seen... Oh, yes. I don't know about Lady Diana's bloodline, SW and Roach Castle. I've seen you've asked that a few times now, and I don't know. It's just like... a lot of the royals, you know, I really don't want to start talking about their bloodlines because I don't think much of it would be suitable for YouTube and mightn't sound very kind when you go to actually try and dig through it. But I think that there's a lot of mixing of the royal bloodlines right across the world. It's a very small world when you move in those circles, and it wouldn't surprise me to find out that a Norman castle in Ireland going back, 700 years, is connected to royal lineage today. Just get off that screen. Yeah, there's a whole other set of instructions on the TV up there, so if I accidentally scroll off the side of the laptop, I can accidentally press things. Just... I get there. I'm learning, and it's just going to take practice. That's kind of the first thing I realized when I really got into my stride, even just making pre-recorded YouTube videos, is that the only way you're going to get good at it is by practice. So here I am showing up for practice, and here you are all too. Budget Cooking UK, love the channel, always look forward to your vlogs, keep them coming. I will do, thank you so much. So I think it's a good time to, and Paul Doyle, the green aura suit you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good time to discuss content, because the actual idea behind coming into a live chat was that I wanted feedback from you, the people who really are invested in this channel and really care about what happens to it. So I suppose I've been making it as clear as I can without shouting too loud about it over the last year or so, is that it's kind of untenable for me to work what a lot of the time is a full-time job on the side and make highly researched, highly produced YouTube videos and try and participate in the renovation of the house that we're living in now. There just aren't enough hours in the day. Like, to make one of my YouTube videos from start to finish, including the research, the scripting, the filming of it, the editing, sometimes the reshoots when the tech fails us, takes on average anywhere between, if I'm really rushing it, I might get it done in 5 days. Usually it takes closer to 6 or 7, and then when the video actually gets uploaded with the thumbnail and all of that, I have to spend then several hours kind of promoting it and making sure it gets seen by as many people as possible. And it just sucks up your entire life, which I was happy to let it do when I started this channel during lockdown. My actual initial idea for it, which goes to show I can't be trusted with deciding the direction for my own channel at all. I need you to help me decide, because I really, really, really thought it was going to be a craft channel, like where I just did various kinds of crafting, particularly a little bit of bushcraft. I'm not big into it, but like I do enjoy, like my first channel, or my first video on the channel was buying 3 bags of sheep wool, getting a wee bit overwhelmed at what to do with it, considering I didn't even have a bathtub to wash it in, and then somehow managing to still make a really functional and beautiful felted blanket out of it. And, you know, it took me a couple of weeks to film it. I really enjoyed the process because I am a crafter myself. I love to craft. I wouldn't say I'm particularly skilled in any one area, but I've tried a lot of different kinds. And I thought that that's kind of the way the channel would be. It's just me sort of having the crack with you and crafting. And it obviously wasn't meant to be. As soon as I started talking about history, my viewers made it very, very clear that that was the direction that I should head in instead. And so that's what I did. And, you know, the viewers turned out to be right. History and the sort of mythology, the folklore, really, really, really was something I so enjoyed getting into, because I was embarrassed myself as an Irish person not knowing more of this stuff. We didn't learn a massive amount about it in school, and what we did learn was extremely sanitized. So all of a sudden, it began to appear before me that I could help. If I could understand these stories and make them entertaining, then I could make them accessible for other people too. And I thought, well, that's a far more worthwhile pursuit, and it's probably going to be far more useful to people than just watching me do a half-assed job at whatever craft I've taken a notion on that week. The other thing is that it has kind of produced a lot more work for me than I ever intended it to do. As I say, that was sort of fine up until we moved down on site here, and there's just too many things pulling at me in too many directions. So my idea for the live streaming is that I don't want to do less YouTube. In fact, it annoys me that I can't do more YouTube. I'd like to spend more time creating content, but like in a more productive way. It doesn't feel very like I'm working very smart. It feels like I'm working very hard when I do nothing but the sort of highly produced videos. Whereas I feel like, what I said last week is that if I was going to go into regular live streaming, we could do a live stream where people email me articles that they've seen during the week, or maybe memes and things like that related to whatever, Irish culture, related to witchcraft, related to mythology, any of the things that I have shown an interest in on this channel. Even got to do with, the more practical, I suppose, real world stuff, like the renovation of the house, the situation with housing in Ireland at the minute. These are all kind of areas of interest for me, and all things that I would be delighted to just discuss at length. I'd love to have more time to do that, and just get these conversations going. So I need you to let me know if that's the kind of thing that you'd be interested in tuning in for. Like, I think it was a very good sign that I ended up talking for nearly 2 hours last week for my first ever live stream, and I was worried about not having enough things to say, but between reading the comments and trying to mention the things that I wanted to discuss, the time just flew. So I really do feel like that is something that I could and should be doing more of. But the downsides, okay? I'm clearly here. This is just about passable here. I've got the green glow. Maybe I could fix that with a bit more effort over the months. The problem is, okay, and I don't mind talking about the brass tacks. I don't mind talking about the prohibitive cost, because it's one thing you don't really think about when you think about people starting a YouTube channel, is actually how expensive it can be. So apart from all the equipment and stuff I've already invested in, we're not talking about that now. That's water under the bridge, and it was all a very worthwhile investment to get me going on YouTube. However, if you want to progress to live streaming, there's so much more you need. First of all, you need very fast internet, which I do have access to, because everybody keeps telling me about Elon Musk's bloody, what's it called, Starlink. Folks, I put on an Elon Musk video last night. like part 4 of his interview with Lex Friedman or something, because I knew it would put me to sleep. But it was so annoying, it actually nearly didn't. But it did, so don't worry. Anyway, good for Elon, he's nice and rich. So I can get Starlink. In fairness, he has provided us that option. It's quite expensive though. Like if I'm to get Starlink and I'm to get the other sort of essential piece of software for doing live streaming, which is StreamYard, which is like the streaming software where you can, pull up the super chats and you can, I don't know, you can have other people. Isn't that right, Dave? You can have two people at the same time on different channels or even different platforms. And because I like the idea of also bringing other people in. Now I have more ideas for long form content. Somebody remind me to talk about that. But basically, so to get the better internet and to get the StreamYard subscription, it's going to cost me approximately 4 times what I'm currently paying monthly, what I can currently afford to pay monthly. I would need to double the amount that I've got in channel memberships in order to ensure that I'd have the money coming in every month when it's a quiet month on YouTube, okay? Thankfully, I'm experiencing a spike at the minute and things are going very well and the earnings are finally reasonable and all of that, but I can't guarantee that that's going to last, because not every video I put out is going to do very, very well. The videos doing the best at the minute are videos I put out months ago. So YouTube is a very, very up and down kind of thing, and I'm scared. I'm scared to make a big commitment to such a jump in outgoing costs that I just don't know if I'm going to be able to maintain that or not. So look, if this is something that you want to see more of, give it a share, give it a like. Let's boost it in the algorithm. So yes. Hi Amy. I've got the Crafty Cailleach in Irish Folklore and History, another excellent channel about Irish culture and all things sort of witchy and Irish as well. So do hop over and check out Amy's channel. Amy is letting me know that OBS is free. You are correct, Amy. I'm currently using OBS, but I think as far as myself and Dave understand it now, there's a lot of things that StreamYard can do that OBS can't, and I think that is like bringing other people on, especially if they're on different platforms, and bringing up super chats. Like I don't know if there's a way for me to highlight comments here. Do you know what? Just stand by till I give it a go. There's only one way to find out. Right, where did Amy's comment go? There it is there. Okay, it's just a love heart now. Wait till I see. Yeah, no, I can't. There's no option to highlight comments on the thing. And as somebody myself who likes to watch a lot of live streams, I like being able to read the comment as well whenever it's being addressed. So I would seriously consider getting StreamYard. But actually, to be honest, it's the cost of the internet at the minute. It's just bad time of year. Winter is coming, Christmas is coming, and it's all money. But at the same time, I was like, well, I want to tune in and let people know where I'm at, because if it turns out this just isn't going to work out until we've got better fibre broadband in the area, when it will be cheaper for me to access really good internet speeds, then maybe I'm as well just waiting for the 18 months, and I'm okay with that too. It's just I also have I have all kinds of psychological urges telling me that I should always be doing more work and that I don't deserve periods of rest. Okay, we're not even going to go there. That's a whole other live chat. But you'll be happy to know, those of you who were here last week and did manage to catch me talking about my new routine I was hoping to start this week, well, I did. And in fact, I made it through the first book in the Early Irish Law series about early Irish contract law under Brehon law. I made it through that book in 3 days, which I can't quite believe I got to the end and I was like, did I miss something? Because I really expected it to be a lot harder and to be a lot more difficult to understand. So I feel like again with that, I'm really in the right spot. Wait till I see. Oh, the comments are flying in. Elon has a factory in Manor Hamilton. Get out. Get out. Oh, we might have to go. Well, we have to go for a wee visit. We have to go for a wee site visit and see what's happening up at Elon's place. Do you reckon you get a cup of tea at Elon's place? Because he'd still get a cup of tea at my place now. Whatever I'd say about him being boring, I'd still make tea for him if he showed up. Like, be bad manners not to. Area Glorious has been without proper internet for nearly 6 years. Yeah. We're actually just limited on providers where we're living. They're kind of saying to us, either there's too many people on their server already and they can't put anyone else in the area onto it, or, you know, they just can't guarantee us the speeds. Literally the only option that seems to be like guaranteed great internet is Starlink, and it's, as you say, it's just really expensive. Amy says the more serious streaming on Twitch and YouTube has eluded me thus far. Yeah, I know. I see all these other YouTubers making it look so easy. They just turn the camera on and start talking about stuff and just like bouncing off people and whatever they've been inspired by that day or that week. Like, and I'm like, oh gods, I could so be doing that. Well, thank you, Amy, for saying that you would like to see more streams and live chats. That's great. I think it would allow a lot more room for like discussion. Like, I love going and doing the research and putting up a video that I'm quite confident is accurate and entertaining and informative enough to be putting up on YouTube. But it's like it goes up there and it's like a fart in the wind. You put it out into the ether and that's it. You get the comments back in, but sometimes then you get comments like months after the fact from people who, you know more about it maybe, or have an insight into the subject that you hadn't quite thought of. And it's like, I'd love to just speed up that two-way communication a little bit so that, I feel like it might just speed things up in general with the learning, that it's not like me putting out something, hoping for the best, and then people eventually getting back to me. I really have the Irish penchant for talking shite all day long, to be honest with you. I think we're late enough into the stream now, I'm allowed to say shite without getting demonetized. Yeah, my writing/publishing partner, Chris Smith, who was in and out of the comments last week. I don't see him this week, but that's okay. His schedule is about as bananas as mine is. So the other idea I had that nobody reminded me of, Dave, including you, was that I want to do a podcast, okay? This friend of mine, Chris, back long before the days of the Ditch Witch, Chris, I've known Chris since I was a teenager, and Chris initially put me on to the likes of Anne Rice, Terry Pratchett, all of that. So obviously we always had that in common, and these now are still some of my favourite authors. So later then Chris started getting into Irish mythology long before I ever did, and I found that he was really able to explain it to me and help me understand it. So when it came time for me, then I started writing books and things like that. I sort of got on to Chris about it because he was the only other like real life author that I knew, and Chris was fabulous. He gave me lots of advice, and he actually came back to me then with a business plan and said, look, if you're going to be an author and you're going to write fiction, you're probably going to have to self-publish. He did help me with putting queries out to publishers and that, but I hadn't the patience to wait for them to be coming back. So we decided to self-publish, and we decided to do it together. We started a handle, Red Mantle Publishing, and we co-wrote a novella together, the name of which was Ableist, but we didn't know that at the time. I'll say it once, but I won't be advertising the book too often. The book is called Idiot Sticks, And apart from the name, it's one of my creative ventures that I'm most proud of, because I came up with the idea for the story. Chris kind of bullet pointed it. It's set in the Iron Age, and at the time, Chris just knew so much more about that than I did, and I couldn't get enough of the conversations with him where he explained it to me. He was talking to me about, Iron Age history and about mythology and just about society at the time, and also some of the the versions of the translations of the stories that have been put out since then, which are sometimes really hilarious. And that was one of the things I found. Chris really helped me to re-find the comedy in Irish mythology specifically, but kind of also in the history sometimes too. But he just had a way of putting things, and I feel like that really, he was a bit of a mentor for me. That inspired me. I loved writing that book with him. I'd have loved to have written more with him since then, because I think we work very, very well together. After he sort of bullet pointed the story for me, I then went away and wrote it and took it back to him, and he checked it for accuracy and style and all that kind of thing, and we're both really proud of it. So we've been toying with the idea of doing something else together, and we got talking recently, and both of us sort of reached the conclusion at the same time that we should probably do a podcast together, because there's still an awful lot about Irish mythology that I don't know. I know I give the impression that I'm all knowing, but every piece of information about mythology that I've given on this channel, I had to go and research it first, and I've probably told you a lot of what I know. I'm usually at the limits of my knowledge before I sit down and make a video. So, sorry, now I'm getting lost in the live chat again. I knew that was going to happen. I will take a minute presently and actually just go in and see what everybody's saying. So yeah, myself and Chris are maybe thinking about doing this podcast where he will just bring up a topic of something that he has been interested in that week or recently, or something he's trying to write about, or something one of us came across during the course of our weeks. And he'll basically tell me all he knows about it, and I will ask him all the questions that seem obvious to people who don't know, but just the person who has all the knowledge already mightn't necessarily think to explain that. So I'm basically going to grill Chris on everything he knows about Irish mythology. He's very much the storyteller more than an academic, really. And as with everything, he has his own take on some of the translations in Irish mythology, but we always come back to, some kind of understanding, and there's always laughs. So I kind of thought, why don't we open this up to the wider world? I've said it to Chris. He seems delighted with it. He's even allowed me to coax him onto camera so that we can put it on YouTube as well as whatever podcast platform we're going to use. And then it also means if we hit a particular topic and there's like 5 or 10 or 12 minutes of really, good information or something really funny, that we can cut the clip out of it, and then that can go back up onto YouTube as a shorter clip. It could also be shared up on Instagram and TikTok, which Chris is having better success with those than me. I haven't got room in my head for any more social media platforms. I've tried with Instagram. I have not tried with TikTok. I can't. But Chris is quite good at those, and his channel is... Totally can't remember it again, Dave. Can you get it up for me, please? He's Chris Smith, but he's got some handle that's like Christopher with a K and all the vowels taken out, and a V in the middle. It's like KRSTVR or something like that. So do check out Chris's TikTok as well, because he's been putting some great little videos up there that he's been making about Irish mythology. So let me know. Go over and check out what Chris is doing. Obviously, you're here, so you're somewhat familiar with what I'm doing. And tell me if the podcast is something you'd be interested in. Tell me if a live stream where we just chat off the bat about stuff in the comments or stuff that has been emailed to me by you during the week. Tell me if that's the kind of thing that you'd be interested in. because all of these, honestly, if I got stuck into it, you know, it probably would pay for itself. It's just a big commitment. It's a bit of a scary gamble, at least is how it seems at the minute. And I just don't know if it's going to come together as quickly as I would like it to. So, like, if you want to be specific and tell me the sort of thing you'd like to say, I'm open to just being told what to do, because, like I explained earlier, I'm not always the best judge at what it is that I should be providing. Even the herb magic, I had to be told to do herbs, you know, because, I don't know, I suppose there's these interests, some of them I've had them for so long that I sometimes forget that they might be interesting to other people, or that, you know, other people don't know about it, or I really do need the obvious pointed out to me sometimes. Your surname is Judge and are linked to Brehon laws. Cool. Yeah, did we get a confirmation on Elon's factory and whether or not I'd get a cup of tea if I showed up at it? Okay, are you saying to me? No, you're saying to Amy. Okay, I can't tell who's talking to who now in the chat, so I'm gonna leave the middle portion of the chat alone and just try and keep an eye on what's going up there recently. Moonchild says you'd tune into that. What would you tune into specifically? Is that yeah, well, you see, Glenade Lake Monster. This is I did see you recommending that before, and that's exactly the kind of thing that I could, you know, have a read of during the week, form a bit of an opinion on, or just read it live there and then on the live chat. Because I like that. I'm not afraid of a bit of fly by the seat of my pants content. What I don't like is having to rely on inferior technology or inferior internet connection, because then things go wrong and I feel like I'm letting you all down and letting myself down, you know. Nicole says anything to do with plants is her favourite, but she's also interested in folklore and history. Good to know, Nicole. Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, do you know, even plants, even just talking about what's in season at the minute, like there's actually so much to talk about. I don't really know what people are interested in. I see now recently the videos that are taken off big time are all ones with Derelict Cottage in the title. And that's fine, but there's only so many videos you can squeeze out of your Derelict Cottage when you haven't actually done anything new on it since the last one. And I'm also aware of not wanting to flog a dead horse, you know. Paul Doyle says he hasn't a clue what to suggest that I might do in future, but he does know that I'm very charismatic, natural, friendly, and very easy to listen to, whatever you do. Thank you, Paul. You'll have a think, though. I appreciate that. Thank you. All characteristics of an excellent cult leader as well, so you'll need to keep an eye on me that I don't get too big for my boots. Unless you have a really good plan for doing both, so quality doesn't suffer. Well, you see, I'd be able to put more content out. If I'm doing the live streaming, you know, you're producing a massive body of content there that can be worked and reworked for the people who don't want to sit through, you know, 2 hours of me talking about whatever come up that week. But, you know, who want to get the little summary of the most funny or interesting things that happened on my channel during the week. So we could still learn quite a lot. It just wouldn't take me 6 to 7 days out of every week for that to happen. You've been on Brehon laws too, Eileen. What do you mean by that? Have you been reading about them? Very, very interesting. Like, oh my gosh. The next book I'm going to start is the back breha, so the bee laws. The laws about bees. Can I wait? No, I can't. It's tomorrow. And there was a part of me was like, do I really want to put on actual clothes and leave the house and drive 20 minutes up the road when I could be home learning about the ancient laws surrounding bees? in Ireland. But then again, it was maybe it was the study of the Brehon Law where I started thinking about, you folks, and thinking, well, I'm coming across little funny things each day as I'm reading, or little interesting things. Not quite enough to sit down and research and script a whole standalone video for. But if it was something as part of conversation and we were just kind of chewing through it, that could be taken as a little clip and uploaded by itself. Do you see what I mean? Then I've got, 4 or 5 times the amount of content without even leaving the house, hopefully, as I would otherwise do with the really highly produced videos. Yeah, also, I don't want to do it here too often because the cost of this place is quite expensive. Like, it costs me twice as much as I pay for my internet each month to make one visit to this place, so that we have it for the 5 hours it takes, Dave, to set up all the lights, set up the microphone, set up the laptop, all the cables, the mixing desk, get the green screen right, get the sound right. I'd really like to just be able to do it from the house. I feel like if I was doing it from home with the better internet connection with the satellite, I could maybe even do this like twice a week. This is so much easier and less labor intensive. Not that I don't want to be complaining about those other videos. Like, those videos are what made the channel. I'm also a little bit afraid that maybe changing the type of content I make so rapidly, so suddenly from hello to Maeve and Gortine. How are you? Oh, it's great to hear from you. Yeah, again, totally lost my trail of thought. That's my cousin Maeve. Delighted to hear from her.
Changing the content from the live streaming from.
God's bless you, Dave. Yeah, I'm afraid that it might be a very big shift to making content, and that the people who've maybe only discovered me recently, who really like that kind of video that I do with all the research, and that maybe they won't like me doing live chats. I don't want to put people off, and I don't want people feeling mugged off either. Like, I'm not putting in the work that I used to. I could still do the odd researched video. It's just I'd be able to spread the work required on it out over a few weeks and make a proper job of it. Because honestly, when you're trying to crank one of those out a week, like, quality drops, okay? You're more likely to make a mistake in the information that you're providing. You're also more likely to end up with something that didn't really inspire you that much in the first place, and your heart isn't in it. It's maybe not as good and as entertaining as it could have been. Aunt-in-law's family are from Gorchin, Moonchild. Which Gorchin is that? There's a lot of Gorchins. It means small field, so there are a lot of them around Ireland. Gorchin is in Inniskeen, and technically it's in the County Louth, even though Inniskeen is in County Monaghan. I've always been a liminal child. Straight from the Louth border to the Leitrim border. Great. Lots of the witchy folks that Nicole follows do a combination of types of content. Some researched, some live, some other types. It's all fine with me if it's subjects that interest me. And I'm like that too. That's exactly what I find with some of my favourite YouTubers. But then I do watch quite a lot of content on YouTube. Like, when I'm going about doing my chores all day, I've got the phone in my pocket just talking away. If you missed it last week, I've been super into Scientology and all the SPTV folks for months and months now. It has consumed my life. Anthony Kineen says, don't change. So is that telling me not to change to live streaming? Is that you telling me I'm doing a shite job of this one as well, Anthony? I'm so sorry if you feel that's the case. I can't help but put my big gob up on YouTube. I don't know what it is in me that makes me want to do that and submit myself for criticism of just anyone on the internet who happens by. You want to see some of the comments. Now that the videos are getting really big and there's just like a lot of random people finding my channel. One guy proposed to me, and yeah, a lot of sort of people telling me, like, you know, I really enjoy getting to know a little bit about my viewers, and especially a drip feed of information as you get to know somebody over a long period of time. I find is lovely. Some people try to cram their entire life story into one comment, and I go, I'd need an hour to read that. So it's coming to the point now where I actually can't even keep up with the comments. So I'm sorry if there's anybody watching who has left comments and didn't get a response. What I'm having to do at the minute is focus on channel members. That is one of the perks of my channel memberships. They start from €3 a month. I'm currently very lucky to have some really supportive channel members, and they get priority when it comes time to reply into comments. So if there's a day when I'm just overwhelmed, I have too much going on and I cannot get back to all of the comments, I will do my level best to get back to the comments of channel members. That also reminds me, I've got a new channel member, Tuklaroo. Thank you if you're watching, whether live or on the replay. Welcome to your channel membership. I'm actually not sure what level you joined at. I think it was Lunasa or Baltina. But thank you so much. Welcome aboard. Thank you for your support. Every little really does help. And as I say, if I could, oh God, people are probably going to say I'm giving away too much information on YouTube. But look, I think it's only people who have money that don't like talking about money. I think the rest of us occasionally need to talk about it. I'm currently making in and around €55, I think, a month in memberships and channel memberships, because YouTube takes like 40% of everything you earn on the platform. So that is great. And currently, if I'm not hoping to live stream and I don't need to make all these additional investments, that is actually, that's doing it. That's pretty much covering the cost of what it takes me currently to do YouTube. It's just not really paying for me to make a video every single week, to the detriment of the other paid work that I totally have to do. So yeah, if I could double that, if I could get it up to about €100 a month in memberships, and I'm aware that, you know, most people these days, to be honest, just can't afford it, and that's cool. I don't want to put pressure on anybody ever. I'm just letting you know, if there's people who's new to the channel and you haven't yet watched a video where I have mentioned memberships or explained about memberships, maybe if, you know, this is something you want to see more of, you might consider, if you're in a position to contribute towards that. Please do not feel pressured, okay? See all you lovely people in the comments just chatting away there and bumping the algorithm on this video. That is more than enough. More than enough. Wait till I see. Oh yeah, okay, Dave's reminding me to say that for anybody who joined late, feel free to pop your questions in the chat. How long are we into it? Lads, we're nearly an hour into it. Did I even cover the things I wanted to? Do you know what? I have a giveaway to do. I have a wee giveaway to do. I wanted to do it last week. I thought the timing would be great last week. We hit 10,000 subscribers. You know, we're up to 11.5 now, so we're still celebrating, but it just doesn't seem quite as exciting this week as it did last week. And yeah, you know, it was like just a few days after Samhain, and it was so timely. But yeah, this week now it's sort of it's a bit in between seasons. Look, I've got like, I'm wearing red and green, so I'm actually feeling like quite festive. Can you see that? Yeah. I'm feeling quite festive, but then obviously my background is quite spooky, because I'm still also feeling quite spooky. And also, who says the Christmas can't be spooky? In fact, I think it should be. I think that's one of the things the Victorians really got right, was spooky Christmas. Where did I see now? Was there anything else that I had to discuss? Oh, I've actually pretty much covered everything. I suppose it helped that I had the practice of running through literally everything I wanted to say last week when nobody was listening, unfortunately. Okay. So one more check of the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we're going to do a giveaway. So just excuse the dead air for a moment, please. I'll have a sip of my tea and a quick read. Maeve loves my cottage renovation videos. Thank you, Maeve. I really enjoy making them too, but as I say, when you hit one of those points where you just haven't got the money in the bank to plan the next thing quite yet, there's going to be a lot of that in-betweeny sort of thing, which we knew before we bought the place. We knew it was going to be a long slug. It's just a matter of how much content can I squeeze out of a derelict cottage. There's definitely going to be a video coming up where I set up the Christmas tree in the most derelict looking room in the place. And it'll be funny. Oh my god, did I just get my first super chat? Oh, there it is. Thank you, Pat Scanlon, you ledge bag. Can I... Wait till I see now if I can bring that up on screen. No, I can't. Oh, that's so annoying. Thank you, Pat Scanlon. I feel so encouraged by that. Oh. Dave want to show his lovely wee face, says Moonchild. I don't know, Dave, do you? Are you feeling lovely? Come in. Yes, Paul, YouTube takes 40%. Country Pumpkin, no, I don't have a Patreon because I was afraid that it was just going to be more content I had to do. Like, I do make a little bit of content for my YouTube members at the minute. Not very much. They seem to know that and they seem to not mind. They're very forgiving. Kay is not telling her life story. It's secret. Did we ask her to? Not that, I mean... I wouldn't object.
You're saying about comments in your life stories.
Oh, everybody, yeah, no. That's okay, Kay. You're not. Yeah, my life story for the most part has been pretty secret thus far too. I like to share a little bit on YouTube, but obviously, you gotta remember that not everybody's as nice as the nice people. I also have to be kind of aware of my language because although YouTube will allow some light swearing after the first 5-minute mark, there are a lot of words that will get you instantly demonetized, and they're not swear words. They're just words that, are used in the general run of things, especially when you've got a very Irish way of putting things, which I do. Okay, my next super chat. Thank you so much. That is fabulous. Okay, I'm getting the impression that you are really spurring me on here and going that this is definitely something you want to see more of. It also, I'll see how it goes, like on the replay. How many? It's maybe not a great time for Irish people tuning in. There are a few of us who are likely to be sitting around at 8 or 9 on a Sunday night, watching YouTube. I might also switch it to a different night because. If I was to do it during the week, it might make things a little bit easier rather than having to come in and set this whole thing up from the start. Oh, Betsy, you signed up to a channel membership at Baltona level. Thank you so much. The relief, I can't even tell you the gratitude and the relief that's coming down on me, because I feel like the only way really for me to move feasibly forward with a sustainable plan is to do live streaming and longer form content that's less labor intensive. But it's just whether or not my viewership will accept the change is kind of remains to be seen. But I'm feeling so encouraged by this. Getting them memberships up is fantastic because that's monthly money that comes in for me, and I can see how much there's going to be. And really, it's probably only going to cost me about 80 a month overheads. But if I hit the 100 mark, it means if somebody has to drop out of their membership, if somebody has to cancel it, we're okay. We're still cool. We're keeping our head above water. Dave is showing me all the activity that's happening here, so I'm having to look at a fourth screen to do that. There must be an easier way. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much. And I see for more than one of you here as well, it has been your first ever super chat on a live stream, which means a lot. It means a lot that I'm the one to help you cross that bridge. I'm a wee bit speechless. My sentences are getting a bit all over the place now at the minute, because I feel humbled. I feel very humbled. Betsy likes my spooky background as well. And you would like it in all of my live videos. Okay, well, I mean, if we don't mind the eerie green glow and all of that, okay, I am willing to do maybe a stream every 2 weeks from this place here. It's still an awful lot of, like, it's a siege. Basically, it's a siege to get up to this enterprise centre. It's great to have it. I don't think we could manage it on a weekly basis, purely for the fact that I rely on Dave giving me a lift and being here to help with the tech, because we're using mostly my tech and also some of the tech that comes with the venue, and they kind of have to make friends with each other, and I'd be completely lost. I'd have a panic attack and would probably never even make it on the air if it wasn't for Dave, to be very honest with you. When it comes to the live stuff, I don't like it. So I need both the lift from Dave and sort of the technical help. If we can do that from home, that's not so bad, you know, because Dave doesn't necessarily have to be available to drive me. He can just help me set up the tech beforehand, and that's it. He can walk away then. If anything went horribly wrong, I could give him a ring for help. So I probably sound like an awful baby just not being able to do my own tech. All the other YouTubers just look so able for it. I don't know how to do it. Facebook keeps blocking me daily for cursing. Moonchild, I feel you. And Area Glora says, hi Dave, and also it's nice to meet someone who enjoys getting to know people little by little instead of one wall of text or email, whatever. Yeah, honestly, if I open up an email and I see a wall of text, I just close the email again, unless I was expecting a wall of text. You know, there are people in my life who that's just how we communicate, but because I tend towards that myself, I don't have enough space in my head for unsolicited walls of text, whether it be in comments or emails. I really appreciate people putting in the input and leaving the comment. It's just, I cannot. I don't have the time. There isn't enough time in the day. Oh, Sassy Girl also signed up to Bats on a Level. Holy crap, people. I feel like we're on some kind of a roll here. This is far superseding all of my expectations. Thank you so much. Seriously, every one of you. Oh yeah, I was going to do a giveaway and I got so distracted and excited. Nicole, seriously, don't feel pressure to do the membership, okay? You know, even just being here and leaving the comments, this all helps boost the algorithm. This means that more people will see this video during the week. Once it has finished, when there's, you know, like, people like to listen to YouTube at different times of the day. And I like to think that I'll have long form content up there waiting for them when they need it. Because honestly, I do rely quite heavily on my YouTube long form content for my own entertainment, for my own relaxation, not to mention what I've learned from the people that I watch. But yeah, I really love the idea of providing that for people too, because actually one of my main motivations in starting the channel when I did start it during lockdown was so that we could have a shared laugh, so that other like-minded people could all come together on my channel, and that we could have a sort of a little witchy ditchy community sort of thing going on. And look at it, here it is. Like I mentioned, memberships, and loads of people have signed up. So I'd say we're already a lot closer to our goal. And what I can do in the meantime is, if we don't quite hit the goal, you know, before Christmas for doing the Starlink, I can come back here and stream from here again. I couldn't even promise you I could do it once a week, because that's putting quite a high demand on Dave right now. I am also doing my best to learn how to drive, so don't beat me up too much there. Do you know, it's much harder to drive a car than it is to drive a broomstick. Trust me. Actually, most of you probably already know that. Yeah, Kay, it was your first super chat too. Thank you so much. Yeah, buying me a coffee is another great way to do it. I'm also on Ko-Fi. Yeah, and I still have to do the giveaway. I know. God bless you, Dave. Otherwise, I'd be lost. I know, look at all the love coming. I'm blinded by the love. All the people watching me on YouTube are like, here, have some love. And I'm like immediately forgetting everything I was up to and being like, me? You love me? Oh my God, really?
Just mention what you're giving away, and we'll do it in a while.
I'm giving away a CD, okay? My CD, because I mentioned earlier that I write books. I'm not particularly proud of most of them now, to be honest. I'm happy I did them, because anybody who feels like they can write a book, they should write a book, and you learn a lot about yourself from doing it. But after that, when I kind of went, this is not working out the way I thought it was going to work out, I had a lot of music to get out of my system from when I was younger, and I hadn't had access to a recording studio. All of a sudden then I managed to produce this EP, which has, what does it have? It has 4 tracks on it, as well as two bonus tracks. I was feeling confident enough now putting 2 bonus tracks on it, was I? And one of them is a radio edit. It's just a shorter cut of one of the tracks on the EP, but by God, I was proud of this. I'm still pretty proud of it, as much as I can be. To be honest, I'm one of those creators, I cringe at most of the things I've created. Once they're done, I put them down and never ever want to see them again, bar a few exceptions. But yeah, there's a couple of bangers on this now. I'm quite an angsty, bluesy, Hallion-y sort of a musician. Who do I thank on the back? Jinx Lennon and the Periods. Yeah, Luke Kelly. Oh, Nina Simone as well. Lauren Hill, Dolores O'Riordan, PJ Harvey and Kate Bush. All the badass women who inspired me when I was young. And yeah, do your own research on history and myth. Oh my God. Right, okay. I'm going to do a giveaway on the CD, but I may also encourage you to don't read the back. Somebody told me you should put a little personal note on the back of your CD to make it feel more personal. It just makes me cringe harder. I don't know why I do these things. Do you want to know? Yeah. Okay, well, just as a thank you to all the people who've been so supportive. I don't know if it's a nice thing to do for these people though, or if it's just going to upset their days. Thanks to Jinx Lennon and the Periods and the town of Dundalk. Thanks to Luke, Nina, Lauren, Dolores, PJ and Kate. Thanks to David, Jason, Ian and Mark, and to the other friends and family who made me believe in myself and my music and words. Viva la Renaissance. Viva la Revolution. Learn the laws of your country and those of others. Do your own research on history and myth. Protect your constitution. Don't know if that aged well. Teach the children. I don't know. I thought it was artsy. It's kind of hilarious. Looking back, thank you, James Bond. Thank you for the super chat. I honestly didn't expect to get a single super chat on this stream. I thought if I don't completely fail, maybe a few streams in, people might feel like supporting. Siga1, another channel member, says, how's the cottage doing? Cottage is, I'll tell you what, that was the good news. That was the good news earlier today, okay? We have this dehumidifier. We bought it in Home Store and more. We didn't spend a lot of money on it, but what it does have, one feature that I really like, is it has a thermometer to tell you the temperature, and it also has a humidity count. So it'll tell you the humidity in the room. Apparently, healthy levels of humidity in the UK and Ireland goes up to kind of maximum 70% humidity in the room. Today is the first day since we got that dehumidifier that we've managed to get the level of humidity below 70%. It's down to 68% and 17 degrees the thing tells me it's 17 degrees. When I get a room temperature app up on my phone, we're talking over 20. So when I say it's extremely warm and cozy in the room that we renovated last year, that we sort of fixed up last year, there's still renovation work needs to be done on it, but that's a while in the future. We are set for the winter. We are so set. Dave set up the insulation on the pump house just there during the week. He increased the amount of insulation we have on it, so there's even less of a chance of it freezing over when we go below zero. hell, I forgot you gotta pay to get that green screen. I don't need it then. No, you don't have to pay for the green screen, Betsy. Green screen is on us. Green screen's on OBS, actually. Is it OBS that's providing the green screen, yeah? Or is it YouTube? I think it's OBS.
We're using OBS, yeah. We're using OBS to do it. But there is an actual physical green screen here behind us.
What would we do without Dave, Betsy? That is a very good question. Who says they love Nina Simone? Betsy loves Nina Simone. Me too, absolutely. Oh my God, thank you, Kalesh Cohen. Thank you so much for the super chat. That is fantastic. That is brilliant. Okay, and I've made it down to the bottom of the comments now. Right, okay, so we are, really, do you have to let it linger? Get out, you. What do you like? Right, what am I like? We're gonna do the blindy giveaway, okay? How I've seen this done, we've got Dave sitting there, he's gonna pick the name, okay? How I've seen this done is everybody all of a sudden just comment, going, give me a CD or CD please, or just CD if you want the CD, okay? And then whoever wins, I'm going to get them to drop me an email at diaryofaDitchWitch@gmail.com. I'm going to get their postal address off them and post it out to them. I will, of course, sign it as well. I don't know if you're interested in this, but if you are, we've already got people commenting it, so we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Comment now if you want this CD. Go for it. I'm not going to look. Oh, people are buffering. There's a delay. I forgot. Basically, anybody that wants it, we'll leave it there for about 20 seconds. It's called Battle Cry. Interestingly enough, actually, I don't know if you can see. I don't know if the camera will focus enough there to show you. Yeah. See there, me stood with all the broomsticks around me. I balanced all of those by hand. I had to ask all my friends and neighbours for the lend of their broomstick for the day. And initially we planned to take this photograph on the side of a mountain with my good friend David Manning. But of course it's harder to balance a broom on the side of a mountain, especially when it's windy. That's not to say I didn't try. That's also not to say I didn't have quite a high level of success. But it was too hard to get the finished shot. So we moved to the beach and it worked much better. I believe that's Templetown Beach in County Louth there, looking fabulous. And I changed up the colour on it to make it look like an alien planet. Okay, wow, look at all these comments. Dave, pick a name. 3, 2, 1, go.
Paul Doyle.
Paul Doyle, up you boy. Paul the man. Thank you so much, everybody, for your comments. Paul has the CD. Paul Doyle, send me an email to diaryofaDitchWitch@gmail.com. And if you forget the email address, it's on the About tab of my YouTube channel. You can find it in there. There'll be a little thing that says Business Inquiries. Hit that button and the address will show up. So send me an email. That wasn't rigged now, and if anyone's not happy with the outcome, blame Dave. The money was just resting in his account. Eileen, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eileen. Erica's wondering, did she win? No, you didn't, Erica, unfortunately. Paul has it today. Paul, are you from town as well? Is that the same Paul, or is this a different Paul Doyle? If you're from the town, you'll know what town I'm on about. Speaking of which, Home Bakery Dundalk has started releasing merchandise with their infamous pink slice photographed on the front. You might know what a pink slice is if you're not from the town of Dundalk. It's like this, what is it? It's like that really light, is it puff pastry? With just like fresh cream and... There's no jam. Is there jam in a pink slice?
Kind of. Yeah, there is.
There's kind of jam.
There's a wee bit of jam.
There's a little bit of jam and pink icing over the top of it, and it's like a native delicacy in Dundalk, isn't it?
It's delicious.
Yeah, they are. I mean, die-hard fan of the Home Bakery here, so I'm delighted they've started putting out t-shirts. Effing mid-roll ads. Oh, Area Glorious got the mid-roll ads when we were in the middle of the thing. Goods damn. Do you know what? I have more CDs. I have a small box of CDs left in the house that I used to take with me when I'd be going out gigging. So, here you're a late drum woman now. Not from Dundalk anymore. Do you know what? I've never really been from anywhere. I've moved that much. I feel like a lot of them places are my home, but I haven't necessarily lived there in a while. Leitrim is just becoming my home now at the minute. I feel very comfortable and pretty settled in. There's still a couple of things I miss from the town, but that's okay. Okay, so we've wrapped up the giveaway. I think we've discussed most of the things that I wanted to do. It's a wee bit shorter this week because understandably we don't have as many comments because you all made such a great effort to put them in last week, and then I promised I'd hang on to them and answer them all, and then I lost them all. Admittedly, it was through no fault of my own, really, other than attempting it with far inferior internet from what I needed, but that's okay. God loves a trier. Oh, Paul is in the Forest of Dean, England. Sorry, yes, I remember you telling me that now. But the family's from Newbridge, Kildare. I think you told me that too. Yeah, I'll do one last shout out for questions, just because we do still have a little bit of time left here. If there's any pressing issues keeping people awake at night, never let it be said. Ben, you've been in Leitrim 5 months. Oh, amazing! So you're a little bit of a blow in too, and it does feel just right, doesn't it? Like it's, the feeling of calm I have in Leitrim. I feel safe. Like, I mean, it's got the lowest crime rate in the whole country. So even though some people, when you're a wee bit isolated like that, might feel a little bit less safe, actually it probably makes me feel a bit more safe. Brandy Jean, thank you so much for the super chat. You are a very long time viewer, Brandy Jean, and you're always leaving me comments. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. Moonchild loves being Irish too. Don't we all? Like, I kind of think sometimes other people might be a wee bit jealous if they're not Irish. But to be honest now, most of you in here really do have the Irish sense of humour. I think Dave had to delete a comment there. Did you, Dave? Look at you being a mod. I don't know what was said. Best to not tell me when I'm live on the air. Unless you think it's going to be entertaining, is it? No. It'll only put me in bad form. No, don't tell me. Oh, Paula has only just arrived, so you missed most of the live. Sorry to hear that, Paula. But look, it'll be available on the replay anyway. You can watch it back at your leisure. And I am planning on doing more. And judging by the support I've had here tonight, I'm definitely going to be doing a bit more. I'm starting to form the plan now in my head. And I think, do you know what? Yeah, no traffic lights and no street lights. We love the ruralness. Absolutely, Ben. Like, the town we're near only got its first set of traffic lights less than a decade ago, was it? Yeah. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I think the plan is forming in my head. I think the thing to do is maybe do another live chat in maybe 2 weeks. Like, do another one before Christmas here in the Enterprise Centre, because, I think the super chats there this evening have paid for another rental of this space, which is fantastic. I think, or close enough to it that I'm happy enough to go ahead and book this place again. Because as I say, it's still just that bit cheaper than signing up to the Starlink. But look at, cross your fingers and your toes and your eyes for me that things will stay consistently doing well, and that maybe by January I might be able to take the dive and make a contract with the devil himself. Sorry, Elon. Mr. Musk. I don't think Elon's the devil, is he? Is he that bad? I saw a meme today where, having seen his ability to manage, the creator of the meme was pleased to know that Elon would likely be the one overseeing the emigration of the world's richest people to the planet Mars. So I think you can read between the lines on what the meme creator was aiming for there. I don't think they were complimenting his management skills. Oh God, no! There's traffic lights going up. Them windy roads, yeah, God. Them windy roads, maybe it might be. I'd say they're both. They are down here. Oh, you've Irish ancestor, but you've never been to Ireland, so there might be a tiny bit of jealousy. I'm sorry, Nicole. I didn't mean to take the piss. I know it can be really, really tough for people too that, you know, feel that kind of connection with Ireland, but don't have the means of actually getting back here. And I mean, Ireland's only getting more expensive. Somebody was just asking me about that earlier in comments, saying that they'd love to come over, throw away the guidebook. I was like, yeah, throw away the guidebook, but make sure you book your accommodation in advance. Because not only is it hard to get these days, it's bloody expensive, folks. I don't know what happened. Oh, Nicole, you're baking cookies on a Sunday. Oh, see, I'm kind of jealous of that. But if I was at home now this evening, would I be baking cookies? More than likely not. Dave enjoys baking though, and I have the recipe for what I believe to be the best cookies in the world ever, so he occasionally makes them for me and they're very nice. Did I get to see the aurora last week? No, I did not. I didn't know we had a blast of the Northern Lights last week. I have seen some really impressive pictures from around Ireland, at Newgrange and up in Donegal and over on the west coast. We're kind of dead centre of the country where we are, so I haven't seen anything like that yet. I mean, the stars out our way are just like, you've never seen stars like it. It had been a long time since I'd been in total darkness, and I realised that after I moved to Leitrim. But no, unfortunately I haven't seen the aurora, but that's okay. Hopefully it's one of the things I'll be able to look forward to seeing at some point in Leitrim. I've seen quite a lot since I've moved here that I never saw before. Do one tomorrow. That's it, Dave. Cancel the week, okay? I'm just going to inform John in here. I'm just going to move in and I'll just pay him monthly rent instead. What do you think? We sublet the cottage. Be grand. Be grand. And I love this. Like, I can't believe we're nearly an hour and a half into this. I'm having great crack. Imagine if we actually were discussing things that people had emailed to me as well. Like, imagine if I was actually reading excerpts from articles and maybe even doing tiny, very light bits of, you know, research, like checking things out. If people are sending me memes and they want them fact checked, you know, we could do that live on the air if it's not going to take too long, if we're going to have the crack around it. But like, imagine how long the streams would be. We'd be here all day and all night, which I think is a good thing. And yeah, when the day comes and I can do it from home, it'll be even better again. Oh, okay, you had a dream of walking down my road picking blackberries. Do you know what? If you'd like to astral project to my laneway, I'll give you the full tour. That's no problem. We'll arrange a day and a time. Yeah, the light pollution when you live near a city, like I'd been living in not necessarily urban areas, but areas that were, you know, pretty heavy on the street lights. Since I was a teenager, I had forgotten, you know, how bright the stars actually got. It sounds kind of cheesy. You're getting your dual citizenship, Eileen. Oh, that's brilliant. So you'd be able to rock over then. Sure, we might even get to meet you at some point. So, a total disaster with Twitter and X. Yeah. I think the idea was that the emigration effort to the planet Mars would likewise also probably be an unmitigated disaster. And I think that the meme creator was hoping that, you know, it'd be an easy way to take out many birds with one stone. But I think they'd check their maths when it comes to moving to Mars. I think they'd check and double check and triple check. It'd be scary up there. I don't know. You know, if you found out the world was going to blow up tomorrow, but you had an option of moving to Mars, would you do it? If you had to live in a dome, in a glass dome. Did you ever see that? What's the movie Matt Damon's in, where he accidentally ends up being the last man left behind on Mars.
Is it called?
And he has to try and grow he's growing spuds, actually. He's growing potatoes.
Is it called Left Behind? Is it?
No, I can't remember what it's called. Does anybody listening know the name of the movie? We watched that last year, Jesus. It was brilliant.
Love the disco.
Kay lives in Ireland in our head. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to share the cookie recipe. Do you know what? If you leave me a comment like after tonight, I would need to write that down now, Betsy, for next week to remember to bring it with me. But if you send me a comment, because I have no pen, I didn't even think to bring a notepad and pen. Like, that would have been organisation. So leave me a comment on this video during the week if you think of it, and I will actually bring it in and share it, which is The Martian. Is that what it's called? God, I wouldn't have guessed that at all. Yeah, I have to say I found Matt Damon stuck behind on Mars with nobody to talk to and nothing for entertainment except a folder full of disco music, which I absolutely love. I found that to be a very entertaining film. I enjoyed that. Okay, lots of comments coming. Okay, I'm just going to look for questions now because we'll be... You're scared of the pitch black outside, Ben. Get a few sensor lights. People keep telling me that. Or one of them really good heavy-duty torches that you can recharge. Do you remember the big, thick flashlights that you could proper knock somebody out with? Like... you can buy those in rechargeable versions these days. So we got one of those recently and it's brilliant. My God, it's like daylight when you turn it on. This is why you listen to people talk about Irish things. It's lovely. Aw, glad to be able to help, Nicole. Sure, I meant to be away to bed with the kids. Doing a great job of that there, Moonchild, but sure, look at, I'm saying nothing. We're all meant to be doing things that we're not currently doing. The Corner House Project says I'm a total natural. Well, thank you so much. I feel like I am. I feel like, you know, just talking endlessly about things I find interesting is actually something I could do, you know, a lot of. Yeah, if in person it would be in a pub. Yeah, like I don't drink an awful lot. I don't go out an awful lot. Actually, for the last few years, most of my life has revolved around sort of prioritizing the making of YouTube videos. I haven't done an awful lot of like going out and socializing and stuff like that, but I do enjoy it. And I get what I find what happens is if I haven't spoken to somebody in a few days, I get a backlog of crack. So the very next person that talks to me, because I also really enjoy being on my own. I would say I'm probably an introvert more than an extrovert, even though I've managed to develop this very easy manner of talking to people, and I find it easy to do. But I need to go away then and recharge, sometimes for days at a time. And yeah, if I haven't spoken to anybody at all during that time, and then they come in and they look like they have 5 minutes to talk, I'll talk for an hour non-stop. Just to get it, you know, because I have crack to have and I had nobody to have it with. You couldn't afford the price to move tomorrow. Right, let's say it was like a Titanic job and some super rich person for whatever reason was like, do you know what? I don't want to move to Mars, and Area Glorious, I've decided to give my place to you instead for free. No strings attached. Would you do it? That route of escape seems like it would only be available to the well-off people. Well, it definitely will. But like, I'm not even sure if I was a multi-billionaire that I'd want to do it. Yeah, no, Betsy wouldn't want to live in a dome. Betsy needs fresh air and plants. So do I. Oh, Kay was astral. Excuse me, astral travelling about my neck of the woods. You saw the gaff and waved and said hi to Tara and Dave. Yeah, the berries are not safe from the puka anymore now. We are beyond the cut-off point, the absolute hard rule cut-off point, which is October 31st, Halloween. Some parts of the country you're meant to stop picking the berries off the bushes on the 29th of September, which is Michaelmas, the feast day of the Archangel Michael. And in other parts of the country, it's on the day of Halloween. So, no, this time of year, I wouldn't chance it. Definitely not safe. They definitely have puka piss on them. No way would I go into space. I think the movie with Matt Damon is The Martian. Yeah, Dave googled it. No, I don't know if I'd like going into space. Do you know, I mean, even the hassle of getting on an aeroplane, like, I don't really mind being up there. And once I'm up there, you know, if the turbulence starts, I kind of go to myself, all right, Tara, you might, yeah, see, this is one of those words I can't say on YouTube. You might perish now. This might be the moment that's going to happen. And I kind of go, all right, grand, well, sure, I chose to get on the plane, fair enough. But going through the airport, having to get to the airport, having to get from the car to the plane and all of the paperwork, and oh, I hate it. Imagine what they'd make you go through to get to Mars. And also, I hear space can be a lonely old place. By the way, for those of you who are in here and just loving the Irish stuff, a little bit of Irish recommended viewing from me. It is a claymation series that I actually think my uncle Anthony put me on to a few years back, and it's called Pulling the Devil by the Tail, and the whole series, I think, is on YouTube, isn't it, Dave? Oh, jeez, it's very funny. It's very, very Irish, and it's actually kind of it's on topic because in one of the episodes, one of the owl fellas builds a rocket. He's just been casually building a rocket in his backyard for years now, and he's finally ready to go to the moon. And it's him that says, "I hear space is a lonely old place." It's very cute and very funny. Do check it out. I can't think of who produced it. But Pulling the Devil by the Tail. Yeah, another introvert who has a ton recharged from a learned, developed, easier manner of speaking with people. Yeah. Like, I was sort of a shy and strange child, and I learned, but I had so much that I wanted to communicate to people, so I finally learned, you know, the manner of doing that put people at ease and put me at ease. And this is what presents before you now as I reach my late 30s. No, wait, I'm already in my late 30s. As I approach 40. Okay, if a rich person did offer their place, no strings attached, shirt balls. I still don't know if I'd go. Shirt balls is a good one. Even if they made those domes possibly like Earth, and they couldn't. Sure, you know, would the sky look blue? Doesn't it always look some weird colour in the movies? Like it's always nighttime, or it's going to be red, or I don't know. I don't think you'd ever get rid of the travel sickness, really, would you? Space is trying to unalive you constantly. Yeah. Sure, the billionaires could fix the whole environment and world poverty. Yeah, they could, which is sort of the ironic thing about it. I was going to say the funny thing about it, but sometimes it doesn't seem so funny. Betsy's husband wants to go into space, and she told him he's on his own. I tell you, I'd be saying the same thing, Betsy. Let him at it. Aye, go on away to space there. Send me a postcard. Tell me what it's like. Bet you there's no tea. And they're only going to ruin up there too. Exactly. Do you know? I mean, you ruin one planet and move on so you can do the same thing to the next one. That's another thing I'm learning so much about with Brahman law is like the respect for the earth. Like it was a given and it was written into all of the laws that you had to protect what was there. Like the environment that your whole community was relying on, it had to be preserved for the next generation because it's a self-evident fact that things that are not protected will not last for very long against destructive forces like human development and industrialization and all that kind of thing. You know, it was it was a given back then. Okay, I know they did a lot of removing trees and that, so there was a lot of forest clearance happened. But Brehon laws had such strict rules against that kind of thing. There were certain species you just weren't allowed to touch, or else they'd fine you. Like, can you imagine that today? Today we've gotten to the point where there's so many invasive species in our native environment that they have to fine people for not burning some of them and for not having them professionally removed. Oh my god, I saw there on Facebook somebody shared a picture of a raccoon in Ireland. Okay, for those of you not familiar with the Irish ecosystem, that's a new one for us. I think they may have been here a few years. There's been a few sightings of them, but generally speaking, most Irish people would tell you we don't have raccoons here. They're not a native species. Oh, hang on, I have to press the button because the camera's going to die. Webcam back up. Hey, look at me. I look a bit more like a spirit of Tara rather than actual Tara. I feel like in do you know in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when is it Mike TV just becomes a load of pixels in the air. Yeah, so I'm going to get back to looking at the chat and making sure I didn't miss any comments. I just have to look at all 15 of my screens first. Okay, lot of chatting going on here. I love to see it. Betsy, I am approaching 40. 37 years of age on my last birthday. Can't be more than 25. I'm so flattered. Your check's in the post, Betsy. Thanks for that. Saoirse Casey has a song called Born in an Elevator about a child being born on the moon, and my daughter fully believes she was born on the moon. Do you know, I've met Saoirse. Saoirse is a lovely, lovely girl and so talented. We exchanged EPs, I think, in the early days of my music career, if you could call it that. Yeah, Saoirse's lovely. I hung out with her dad a few times. Paddy's great crack as well. Area Glorious, you need to start reading up on Brehon Law. Do you know what? You don't. Oh, can I swap back? Can you all see me, by the way? You didn't lose me, did yous? I should be back there now. Hey, good job, Dave, on the super smooth battery change there. Good job. Oh crap, what was I talking about? This is going to be a constant problem of me trying to remember my trail of thought. Yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Raccoons, holy god. Yeah, you're telling me, Moonchild. They're down in was it Wexford? I think I'm in a Facebook group about wildlife in Wexford, and somebody actually had a raccoon like pawing around at their door and, you know, looking like they do in the States, like they're maybe looking for a wee bit of grub, being a bit cheeky and cute. And, you know, people in the comments were like, oh, you have to do away with them humanely now. We can't be having them spread. So I don't know if you're meant to club them in the head or what you're meant to do, but my gods, they're cute. I couldn't bring myself to do it now. Jesus, is she disappearing? Yes, I was. I just had to step out of my body there for a second. You were experiencing some astral projection on my part, so I just looked like pixels, floating pixels. But I'm back now, or at least I should be. I know. Do I come across as being younger than I am? I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I probably sound a bit silly sometime, but that's only because I have this terrible habit of opening my mouth. Brandy, this old crone has made it to 70. Do you know, I still enjoy cursing whiskey and mostly staying home with my critters on the farm. I enjoy all of those things too. Whiskey, not quite as much as I enjoy the tea now. I do like an Irish, a hot whiskey or an Irish coffee when the weather gets cold, and sometimes even when it's not. But yeah, I enjoy all those things, and I'm not even 40. I feel like a crone in my head, but then I know people who are on the cusp of 100 years of age who don't feel like crones, who don't feel old, who still feel as young as they felt at, you know, whatever their prime time of life was, their 20s or their 30s. I know older people who say they still feel like children in their heads, and sometimes I think we all can get a dose of that. Paul says, I look like 1970s Top of the Pops video. Oh, that's the pixels that I'm floating. I left me vocoder at home today, Paul, so I did. I'll bring it next time. No, I don't actually have a vocoder. We have a lot of wee gadgety bits, but we don't have one of those yet. We love an old tambourine, so we do. That's about as fancy as we get at the minute. And we managed to set the synth up with a harpsichord effect on it, so we occasionally throw a bit of harpsichord into the music we're making. We still make music for the documentaries and things like that, so I do still record, but yeah, not enough demand for a vocoder, unfortunately. I floated the idea with Dave a few times, cause I'm a vintage girl myself. I love old music, and I love how they made old music, and I love the instruments that they used. But then, in saying that, I was also a child of the 90s, and it's some of the best dance music ever produced, as far as I'm concerned. Almost as good as disco. Who did you see at Ballyshannon Folk Festival now? Who are we looking at? See, there's things happening in the conversation, and I can't remember if it's something I said, because I'm saying things and then sort of immediately forgetting that I said them. This is something I'm learning now with being online. So I don't know if you're answering things that I'm saying or things that other people in the comments are saying. I know in most comment threads they do the wee @ symbol and then put the name of the person they're talking to after it, so they know who's talking to who. And what we'll do again for the future, if we're going to do questions, because I might do a few questions at the end of each video, even if the point of the actual video itself isn't questions. So I might just get you to all write question in capital letters before your question, so that when I'm scrolling down through here, I can see them easier. Raccoons are not good pets, even though people do it. Yeah, I mean, they seem very aggressive. They're also just so cute. I'd be one of those people who probably would try and hug a raccoon. Now, I'm not going to lie. I would at least try to befriend it. I'd probably dedicate quite a significant portion of my life to doing it too. Well, if I see one for sale, it will be sold. I assume you mean a raccoon. I'd like to know if there's anybody takes up selling raccoons in Ireland. I feel like that's the kind of thing a Ditch Witch should keep abreast of. Waiting to see the wild deer around here. We need to set up some outdoor night cams. So a big old badger the other night running in front of the cart. Right, okay, I do have a story before we go. Because I'm saying I'm not afraid of the pitch dark, but there was one night a few weeks back I was there on my own. And it was grand. I was over in the mobile making myself a cup of tea. It was a good few weeks ago, so I didn't have the fire lit. It wasn't cold enough for that yet, so I was still having to run into the mobile and make myself cups of tea with the kettle. And all well and good. I was coming back towards the house with the cup of tea in my hand. Oh, Paddy and Saoirse were playing at Ballyshannon. Yeah, I have you now. Thank you, Moonchild. It's just taking a bit of getting used to figuring out who's talking to who. So I heard this noise, okay, and I knew it wasn't in the next field. I knew it was just a few meters from me in the long grass, and I'm not gonna lie, I completely shit myself. Not literally, obviously, there wasn't time for that. I had to just like scuttle on into the house and like lock the door and grab a weapon, and I was like, right, because it sounded big. It definitely wasn't one of the cats, because I knew where they were. Neither of them was outside at the time. And I thought it sounded even bigger than a fox. And somebody said to me it might have been a mink. It may also have been a pine marten. I didn't think of any of those things at the time. The first thing I thought was that some serial killer had tracked me down and serial unaliver. There I go. I'm definitely going to get demonetized. That's going to be the hardest thing about live streaming, is saying the right words. I'm used to people saying it on YouTube, but I haven't had the practice at saying it myself. So, but I don't really want to practice saying these words in my real life, because I kind of feel like it's changing how I talk for the sake of YouTube. And I don't think you folks would want me to do that either. But I will do my best to not get demonetized and use the correct words when I am literally in the middle of a live broadcast. Yeah, hot tea is another fave. You can't go wrong with a brandy Jean. It's, I punctuate all the different parts of my day with cups of tea. So when I've achieved a couple of things when it comes to research, or if I'm even just doing housework and things like that, once I've achieved a certain amount of tasks, I'll sit down and reward myself with a cup of tea. Yeah, see, Paul says he's 63, but he's in his 20s in his mind all the time. And then it's your body that reminds you that you're not in your 20s. Like, I'm starting to get that already. I think your 30s is when things starts to kind of go, oh yeah, remember all that exercise you didn't do? You're going to start paying for that now. At Tara, testing your theory. Yeah, well, you see, I can see here now that you're talking to me, and I could see that you were talking to Kay in the comment before, Ben. So it is a wee bit easier. I suppose if you're putting up comment or question, write them in capital letters before you say your comment, because it's a couple of times during the stream now I've almost forgot that I'm the one. I have to keep talking because that's why we're here. If I'm not talking, we're all just kind of sitting quietly together, which is a little bit weird and awkward. Yeah, Paddy and Saoirse are just class. They're great crack to hang out with. And I did actually do some recording with Paddy Casey. We did put a song together, and every so often he'll send me a text and be like, well, did you do any more on that track yet? And I'm like, no, Paddy, I didn't do any more than I did with you, because it was your inspiration. He was sort of helping me produce the track, and it was him that had the very specific idea of how the song should sound. And then we kind of hit a wall and we never really moved beyond it. I don't feel like the track is really finished. Paddy disagrees, so I sent him a copy of it and said, you can knock yourself out there listening to it, Paddy. But I never made a video, and I never uploaded it or anything like that, because I didn't quite think it was finished myself. I think we still had a bit more to do. We just ran out of steam. That happens a lot with musical projects, with a lot of creative projects. You won't finish everything you start, but it's the journey of learning and the journey of trying that is important, really. Whenever I see a fox, it makes me think of the hot priest from the show Fleabag. Oh my God, he was so hot. Oh my God. I think that show did something for all of the sort of repressed people who've been through Catholic schools, specifically in, Ireland and the UK. It's like all of a sudden you're having beers with the hot priest and you're having the crack with him, and oh Jesus. Question, what do you think of Father Ted? I still love Father Ted. Okay, I know Graham Linehan, the tide of opinion has changed on him recently, and from what I've seen, I didn't delve into it, but from what I've seen, it was rightly deserved. But I find it easy enough to separate the art from the artist, because I suppose I would hope that people would do that with me. As I say, I'm not terribly proud of everything I've ever written either, and I hope that people wouldn't hate me forever. Or, if it's my work that they've come to appreciate, that they wouldn't hate the work forever just because of that, because there might be something about me that they don't agree with and that kind of thing. So being an artist myself, I do like to separate the two. And, Father Ted was the funniest thing that most young Irish people had seen, in the 90s and early 2000s. It really spoke to us on a level that nothing else had. You weren't allowed to question the Catholic Church. You certainly weren't allowed to laugh at them. until it ended up on the TV. And actually, my most lingering thoughts about Father Ted that would still come into my mind regularly is how difficult they found it to get that show on the air. From what I remember, RTE totally turned their nose up at it, and they had to go to Channel 4 instead. And actually, you know, whatever we'd say about the relationship between Ireland and Britain, one of the things we definitely have to, I suppose, be a bit grateful for is that when our own state broadcaster doesn't see fit to give backing and support and funding to some up-and-coming creative people like writers, producers, that sort of thing, then at least we have Channel 4 over there who is occasionally willing to put their money where their mouth is. I believe Channel 4 was in on Derry Girls as well from Ground Level. So what I think most often about Father Ted these days is fair play to Channel 4 for taking the chance. But also, you know, some of the classic lines from it, like I do find myself just, without even realising it, quoting it in my head and out loud all of the friggin' time. They're both wild and should stay that way. It's not fair to the animals. Yeah, the raccoons, I don't know how raccoons got here. I honestly don't know how you get one over here. Yeah, Corner House Project. Glad to know I'm not the only one who immediately went to serial killer. Dan, I said it again. Serial unaliver. You went to the effort of saying unaliver. I'm definitely getting myself demonetized here. But I definitely have to try again. I think I could do better. Just need to be a bit more present. You have a pine marten there on your small holding, Michelle. The cutest little thing. Cute but deadly. I've heard they're so vicious. They just be like, oh, look at me, I'm so cute. And they like turn on you. So far, we've had luck with her staying away from the chickens we feed her, so that helps. That's probably the best thing to do, is just pacify them. Like, although I did get a tip from the woman who works in my local post office, believe it or not, who said a cruelty-free way, apparently, to get rid of them is to put a rag soaked with ammonia in the place that they live, and they should just move on. If I remember correctly, the pine martens like to roam, so it probably wouldn't be too much hassle to them to find somebody else if they are annoying you that much. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're feeding the pine marten and the pine marten is happy to accept that, good. Oh yeah, okay, I'm behind again on the comments. Yeah, pulling the devil by the tail, I think Eileen was asking me about that. It's up there on YouTube. It's very, very funny. Oh, your body's still going strong, area Glorious. Keep our lip by, keep our lit. Music is the international language, absolutely. Okay, a few comments there I don't really get. I don't see any more questions. Also, yeah, for James Bond there that was asking me about Father Ted, have you ever seen The Savage Eye? Because I have to say, you know, as much as I like to give out about RTE, they did somehow allow The Savage Eye on air. And I'd like to discuss that because David McSavage has a brother, I believe, who was a government minister, or at the very least a senator or a TD or something like that. He's connected, I know that much, to a political dynasty of a family in this country from what I've heard. So I wondered, did that have anything to do with how he managed to get himself on the air with that show? Because actually The Savage Eye, I would say was, you know, looking back, I would probably find The Savage Eye funnier than Father Ted, but they were both a complete joy to find when they first aired, even though they're like 20 years apart. Paul wants to be reincarnated as Father Dougal. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great to just have people sort of telling you what to do and just sorting things out for you? Because it's kind of understood with Dougal that he's not planning nothing anytime soon. Yeah, Derry Girls was so good. It was very, very good. Yeah, parakeets all over London now. I've actually seen some Facebook parakeet in London content That's quite a development that nobody expected, probably. Yeah, when you're that small and cute and being a nightmare covered in fur to protect yourself is the way to go. Well, it worked for me. And probably several more of us in the comments too. I think we're quite small and cute at one stage. Eileen would like to be a bird. Do you know what? We've got buzzards on site. I got my first almost up close sighting of a buzzard there recently when one landed on the electrical lines in our field. Not the actual line itself, but the thing that goes, the support wire that sort of holds the post upright and secures it. He landed on that. Apparently they like to land on lampposts. I can see him hunting, watching for movement in the field next to us where the grass is shorter because they've got livestock in there all the time. So he likes to hunt there. And actually there was 2 of them. I think we've got a mating pair. So eagerly watching that for developments. Again, it's not the kind of thing I'd make a whole video about because I have no footage of the buzzard so far. At least none that's usable. It's just like a black dot flying around in the sky. You can't really see it at all. But at the same time, something I love to share with you is just the little things, the little developments, the daily developments in the ditch. And hearing about all of your daily developments as well. I hope this is something that we can come to do quite regularly. Yeah, I'm not 25, Eileen. I'm getting on now. I'm really glad I'm not 25 anymore. I'm glad I have a bit more sense now. Not to say I have a lot of sense. I wouldn't get cocky about it either. How's the drainage going for you, Tara? We're awful bad here. I'll tell you, Michelle, since we put in the French drain, things is looking a lot better, but then we haven't hit the real rainy season yet. We haven't had any melt water. There hasn't been much for flooding, actually. There's been 1 or 2 days when the rain was real heavy and we had some water sitting in the field for usually, more than a few days at a time. So far we're very, very lucky, thankfully, but all around us we're seeing lakes just appearing where there were no lakes before. Every time there's a heavy rain, it's it's getting quite bad. Seasonal lakes, we'll call them. There's a flock of cockatoos that migrate between Houston and San Antonio, Texas. Turned loose from a breeder decades ago. It's a tower or what? Tom has definitely seen the Savage Eye. It's a terror or what sort of animals that have spent time in captivity get up to then once they get loose. I love to hear it now, to be honest. I hate the thoughts of captivity for anybody. Here we go. Look at, I show up in orange when you tag me like Ben has just done there. Can Dave come and do our French drains, please? I doubt we are far away, lol. Well, what'd it take you, Dave? About 6 months to do ours? His initial projections were for about 3 weeks.
You need twice as much piping.
You need twice as much piping as you think you need. You need far more than twice as much time as you think you need. And you need the digger, you absolutely have to get the digger in. Dave does not have a digger license. He does not drive HGVs. We had somebody in to dig the trench out for us, and then Dave, with help from his friends and family, got them filled in. I couldn't help at the time because I was lying flat on my back with COVID for 6 weeks, so that was fun. Well, I wasn't actually flat on my back the whole time. I plastered the room I live in now while I had COVID, but that was about as much as I was able for at the time. Oh, Kay has pink hair and shaved on the sides. That is so cool. I used to have pink and purple hair. I was dyeing my hair navy to as part of my look the last few years. It's I thought it was becoming part of my brand, but I just couldn't really be arsed, to be quite honest with you. So much maintenance. I need everything to be low maintenance. I put on the makeup and I put on clothes, at least on my top half. That is more than enough for me. Thank you. Hi, Patriot 420 24/7. Good to have you here. It must be 4:20 somewhere, so feel free. We are celebrating after all. I think we're near the end. Yeah, Betsy knows all about the seasonal lakes. Oh, you had those in Pennsylvania as well. I didn't realize Pennsylvania was kind of boggy. I don't really know anything about Pennsylvania, to be honest with you, except that there's such a thing as Pennsylvania Dutch. That's about it. Even without even without adult beverages. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, I think it's fun too. I'm having a great time. But then, do you know the way sometimes like you meet a group of people, maybe you're at like a party or at the pub or whatever, and you be talking away all night and thinking you're just having the best time, like, and thinking you're class. It doesn't necessarily mean that the people there listening to you enjoyed it as much as you did, if you know what I mean. So I just wanted to see, was that going to be the situation here? If you weren't going to enjoy me talking at length as much as I enjoy it, then it's definitely not viable. But no, yous are encouraging me now. You'll be sorry. You won't be able to get rid of me. Seasonal lakes sound like what they get sometimes in Nicaragua when the rainy season comes, according to my friend who lived there for several months. Open the front door to a lake at the house. Yep, in some parts of Ireland recently, as we saw, you didn't even need to open your front door. It came in the bloody thing on top of you. Cork, like I learned when I was a child that Cork is disappearing by something ridiculous like a centimetre a year. And I thought, well, that seems untenable, but people continue to live there and say nothing really about that fact. So look, I don't want to burst the bubble. If we're just pretending that's not happening, fair enough. The situation wasn't much different in Dundalk now, to be very honest with you. So I know a lot about that. So you were surrounded by creeks and ponds in the centre of Pennsylvania. Be Jesus, it must be low lying. Patriot 420 24/7 is loving the new life. Me too. Me too. Like there's a part of me thinks that this could be the way forward for me. And I'm only codding myself trying to look polished. You got your first tattoos earlier this year, Kay. It's great being over 50. Do you know what? I always said I was going to get a tattoo, but I always knew as well that it was going to take me a long time to settle on something that I wanted enough to actually commit to for life. And surprise, surprise, 20, 30 years later, I still haven't settled on an idea. So, also, I really hate needles. I really, really hate needles. And I know that can sometimes put off people from getting tattoos because the two experiences can be kind of similar. They can be compared with each other. So I don't know if, a tattoo is a thing I'll ever actually bother with. But I like to think that after all this hard work, working me ass off in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, that maybe by the time I hit my 50s, I'll be able to just do shit because I feel like it, and not really worry too much. Well done on the stream. Thank you, James. It really worked well this time. Last time was hard work. It was hard work. And I'll not lie, getting out here, getting this venue booked, getting Dave organised for the lift, getting all the gear together, getting it in the car, getting over here, getting it set up, it is still quite hard work. I know that it's working much better now than it did last week, but it is still quite a lot, so I'm definitely not going to be doing it twice a week. In fact, I probably don't even want to guarantee it to you. That's a mouthful. Once every fortnight or once every week. I think it'll be more like once a fortnight. Or maybe even as little as once a month, because just committing an entire half day on a weekend when Dave could sort of, otherwise be working on the house, as I say, maybe we look at doing it midweek once I get set up at the house, because or even here, I don't know, leave it with me, folks, is what I'll say. Leave it with me. I haven't fully decided. I think I'm definitely going to do more streams from here. I have let you know now it's not going to be super, super regular because it is still just a bit of a siege to get here. But now that the cost isn't so constrictive, at least I don't have to worry about that anymore. And we are on our way to satellite internet. I feel like in the coming months, we're going to hit that target. If I can get that target of monthly membership income coming in to kind of guarantee that I'm always going to be able to pay that bill, even when I'm having, you know, poor times, because we all get those from time to time. And I need to be able to guarantee that it's not going to get me in some kind of financial difficulty, because it's not worth that. Nothing's worth that as far as I'm concerned. Spoken like a true child of the recession / austerity that came after the crash of the Celtic Tiger, the global economy, and the bank bailouts that our politicians are still trying to convince us never happened. House on Stilts comes to mind, Cork, but that might be untenable as well. Yeah, I mean, gets a bit gloomy when you think about it. Have you ever checked out the flood maps to see where is likely to flood on high tide, and like flood projections going forward? That very funny. Kate, you've got the same dark sense of humour. It just isn't very USA. Sometimes I feel sorry for people who enjoy my sense of humour but live in America, because I feel like those people maybe don't always have friends and family around them with the same kind of sense of humour, if you know what I mean. Where do I see now? Okay, I think we're very near the end. I think we're going to have to pull it soon. I think once or twice a month would be plenty of live streams. Thank you, Betsy. I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking for now, you know, we should be able to manage that. Okay, I'm at the end. I'm gonna wrap it up, folks. We've been here for just over 2 hours now. I'm really proud of us. We made it. Look at us go. Look at us go. There is no stopping us now, okay? The train is on the tracks. It's moving forward. As I say, it mightn't be heading at the speed that I would like it to be moving at right now, but that's okay. You can't always get what you want, and to be honest, I'm probably better off taking my time, doing it right, and you know, learning how to learning my craft, developing my craft, making better videos. Hi to everyone who's just showing up now who hasn't said hi yet, and also bye to everyone who is signing off. I'm going to sign off myself now. That's it. Thanks to Paul Doyle. Don't forget to send me an email, the winner of our giveaway competition this week. I will do one on the next live chat as well. Stay tuned to Diary of a Ditch Witch YouTube channel for more details on further upcoming live chats. As I say, 1 to 2 a month is probably most likely for the time being. In the meantime, Gora Mila Mahagiv, thank you so much. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you all. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Brandy Jean. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, everyone who was here waiting earlier and everyone who's joined us since. It means the world. Fabulous to have you. I think we can call that a success now. Slán agus beannacht. Goodbye and good luck to you. Mwah. I don't know what this was.